Can this stock market positivity... Sorry, mate. Sorry. Oh, we're live, are we? God, I thought we were taping this. So can this stock market positivity last? CBA's report, was it a ripper? And should James Packer axe himself for the sake of Crown? I'm Peter Switzer.
I'm Paul Rickard.
And we're mad about money. Andre completely tricked me.
You did that one well, Peter. Yep.
Who would have thought Peter Switzer could make a mistake, Paul? Let's go to the first story. There's positivity on the stock market. It's been roaring back. Record highs in the US. We should probably hit record highs in the not too distant future. Can it last?
Well, I guess it can, Peter. I was looking at term deposit rates yesterday, and these things just take a long time. And I saw that a 5-year rate's down to 0.8% for this one of the minor banks, and you can't get more than 0.5% for any of the major banks. So these things just take time, and that's what's causing our stock market to go up. It's just record low interest rates. Yeah. Investor after investor saying, got nowhere else to go, got to buy stocks. We're just seeing the same in the US. Yeah. Obviously, they're a bit more buoyant about the recovery. But look, I guess it can last, Peter, because people can't invest anywhere else. It does need a pullback, but you know, look,
we'll just go with the flow. It may be a temporary pullback, wouldn't it, Paul? Because if you add in the vaccinations effect, I think 10% of Americans now have had a jab. Yep. Other countries doing a lot better than that. And you throw in the fact there's so much stimulus out there with interest rates so low. In a sense, it would be irrational for people not to go looking for stocks that aren't overpriced and pay dividends. There's just a natural thing to do.
Well, I saw an interesting stat this morning. This is in the CBA report. We'll come to in a moment. But Comsec's volume, the last half was 100% up on the corresponding half the year earlier. Yeah. That tells you how much activity there is from retail investors because they're the best indicator. And that's when an environment when there's all these other brokers opening up. So this is where the money is going. We've seen, as I said, the US it's the same playbook in the US, same playbook in Europe. And that's the impact of when interest rates are zero. What else do we do with the cash? So look, at some stage it's going to come, you know, people are going to worry about debt and all those sort of things. But at the moment, just stay long. I'm not saying you go out and buy today, but the trend is your friend.
Buy the dips as well.
That's what we're seeing.
Yeah, okay, let's go to the next one, Paul. The bell just rang. CBA, you've poured through it. What was the report like?
Well, look, okay. I mean, look, I think there's a lot of... let's go through the highlights. Cash profit about a 3.9 billion. That's about what the market was expecting. Dividend 150 cents. Market was 147. I was at 160 cents, Peter. Yeah. I thought they might do a little better. The disappointing side of the result of anything, and sorry, just positives, loan repayments, only 25,000 home loans still in deferral. That's great news. That's I think only 14%, and only 4% of business customers. They're down to 2,000 loans.
Great news. Yeah.
So all good positives there, and some good volume growth still on terms of the home loan book. They're actually winning market share in home loans, which is positive. Negatives. Look, expenses still growing. You know, they've got to do better on the expense side, and a bit of pressure on NIM. I mentioned the net interest margin in my preview the other day. I thought there might be some stability. Still a bit of pressure on margins there. So look, an okay result. You know, nothing wrong with the result, but this is the Premier Bank. Market was primed for I think a pretty good number. I don't think it quite got there. The other thing we didn't get was the off-market buyback. Now, the capital ratios now is going to be 12.6%.
Which is big.
It's going to happen, but not till obviously the second half of the year.
So do you think the share price might come off a bit today?
I think, given it's been $87, $88, I think there was a lot of expectation built into CBA. Yeah. And I think you're going to see money go into the other banks. CBA will come off on that result. That's my tip today. Not a bad result, but just is a lot. You know, when you've had a big rally into it, a lot of expectation, you're over and trading on a huge multiple compared to the competitive banks. Yeah. I just think
you and I thought $80 was a target, probably in a lot longer time than it took.
And we didn't think $88, right?
That's right. And we're happy to take it. By the way, did you wear your CBA tie on purpose?
I wore my CBA tie on purpose. I thought we'd get the off-market buyback announced today, Peter, but it's not there. So and then anyhow. So that's why I wore the CBA tie on purpose. My yellow tie I wear a couple of times a year. CBA result day.
Okay, let's go to the. Have you got a Crown tie, Paul, for the Crown result?
I don't own any Crown shares. I go into them some time ago. I still have some Crown hybrid notes, which haven't been repaid, but I'm a little bit worried about. Look, I mean, I think the issue with Crown, Peter, is what happens to James Packer? What happens to his shareholding? Does he sell down just to 10%, or does he keep an economic interest and give us a voting interest?
Basically, this report from Justice Patricia Bergen basically said there's something wrong with this company.
Yep.
Directors have to go, and James Packer's influence.
CEO's got to go, directors have to go, and James Packer's got to either sell down.
Well, the influence has to be completely reduced. And so my argument today in the Switzer Daily was that maybe James Packer needs to read the Charles Dickens book, A Tale of Two Cities. Now, Sidney Carlton, who was the hero there, actually in the last page, I think, actually lines himself up, replaces somebody, he gets their head chopped off, and he actually says, it's a far, far better thing I ever do than I've ever done before. And this is what I think James might have to do for his own investment. Only if he steps back and other people take over, the licence could go ahead. That will help in New South Wales. It would mean Victoria and Perth might not have to do the same sort of thing if they change their ownership.
I mean, I think the interesting question for investors is, do you buy Crown shares? I mean, you've got to expect a bit of a sell-off in that today.
Yeah.
My guess is it's too early, Peter, because I think the ramifications of this aren't, I mean, obviously Crown can take a lot of actions, but if the Victorian government and their inquiry come, and West Australian will also be under the same sort of pressure, if they also raise issues about their suitability to be licence holders, you know, all sorts of other problems could come up. So this could have, I think, bigger long-term impact on Crown than just a one-day sell-off. So I don't know. Maybe people say this is the bargain we've been waiting for. They've got the great assets, but if you can't operate those assets, you're going to have any choices but to flog them.
Yeah.
So,
and I guess that the quicker James Packer comes to a decision about what influence he's going to have over Crown, the quicker that share price is going to rebound.
The quicker the Crown board, take action, they get rid of the directors, James Packer decides what he's doing, the quicker we've got more upside for the company. So maybe just
great assets, really.
Look, a punter would probably get in there today, Pete. I don't know, but I think that's a punter. I mean, I think the interesting thing with James Packer, of course, he's the third generation. They say the first generation develops the wealth, the second generation builds it, and the third generation gives it away. I reckon you've got a good example of he's the third generation and he's destroyed a lot of wealth for the Packer family.
Yeah, and I guess that the bottom line is this might be the time for him to make a decision that's wiser than it's been in the past. I'm Peter Switzer.
I'm Paul Rickard.
And we're mad about money.